What's up, y'all? This is Alex from the Rim Review. The Rim Review is a page that offers in-depth player analysis and gives nuance to the way you watch basketball. In this series, we're going to be going over every single prospect in the upcoming NBA draft. Some of which you may already know, however there are going to be numerous hidden gems we explore in the coming weeks. In today's episode, we're going to look at the 6'7" French wing, Pacome Dadiet. When looking at Pacome's game offensively, there are a variety of strengths that stand out. The first of which is his shooting, where Pacome shot 36% from beyond the arc last season. This number is made more impressive when you consider the fact that Pacome shot 50% of all of his shots from beyond the arc. That's also going to be important because he knows how to move off the ball in order to get more open looks from three. Secondly, his cutting is elite. Pacome can cut from the top of the key, he can cut from the slot, he can cut from the wing, he can cut from the corner, name a position on the court, and he has cut from there. That's a big reason why he's averaged 1.415 points per possession on cuts. That's an insane number, and it speaks to his awareness off the ball offensively. It's this type of intelligence in play that is going to allow him to get easy baskets in the pros. Finally, and this is definitely a more minor strength than the first two, but I actually really like him as a pick and pop threat. He didn't do this a ton in his overseas play, but there were flashes where he would run hard, set a screen, and slip for an easy three. In this modern NBA, more and more players are having guards or wings set screens and pop for threes, and I think it just adds a little bit of versatility to a team's offense. I think it's something he could do very well, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see him knocking down pick and pop threes consistently at the next level. There are still some pretty major offensive weaknesses in Pacome's game. The first of which is his turnover issue. He has a .65 assist to turnover ratio, and that's for a couple of reasons. The first of which is the fact that he does occasionally telegraph passes, however, it's not as significant to the point where I put any telegraph passing clips in this video. However, his bigger reason behind having so many turnovers is the fact that he has an extremely loose handle, sometimes will dribble with his head down, and will dribble directly into help. This is really bad because sometimes he'll be in a position where he wants to attack a closeout and he won't rip through properly and will instead dribble directly in to the man in the gaps who will easily be able to swipe and get a steal. Secondly, Dadiet frequently has an issue creating separation for himself. He's not the quickest athlete and he really struggles to do so. He doesn't have that deep of a bag and he's typically more of a straight line drive player. There's nothing wrong with being a straight line drive player, however, Pacome frequently will pick up the ball early because he just doesn't get by his man. Finally, he really struggles to deal with physicality. As I mentioned earlier, he has a very early pickup point, which is bad. He sometimes will get bumped and completely thrown off his line and just struggles and is clearly uncomfortable dealing with it. I think he's definitely going to need to put on a little bit more muscle if he doesn't also improve his handle. Now, let's get into the film and watch Pacome Dadiet play. On this possession, Pacome does a really nice job sprinting to space in transition. As you see here, he sprints to the wing and knocks down an open three. What I love to see here from Pacome is he's initially jogging, but then recognizes that no one's really picking him up. His man is more focused on getting back to build a wall, and so he just runs to space and completely knocks down an open three. On this next clip in transition, it showcases his abilities or inabilities to push the ball. Right here, he's pushing. However, what I'd hate to see here from Pacome is his early pickup point. As you see right here, he picks the ball up at the nail with really no separation. You only have 2 steps, and when there's a defender directly in front of you, there's not much that you can do, and it leads to this outcome. Now, let's watch Pacome showcase his abilities as a cutter. Right here, he's going to run a stagger action and then float to the wing. What I love seeing here is how he cuts in front of his man to get open. As we see, we can draw this cut, and what's good about this is it makes it hard for number 17 on the defense to recognize it until he's already behind his man. On this clip, Pacome is once again setting a down screen. He sets another one right here, and then relocates to the wing. And then he has a nicely timed slash cut. What's really good about this is he starts cutting once 50 is entering the post, and it allows him to remain open for an easy layup. On this clip, Pacome is going to be in the dunker spot, kick the ball out, and then fade to the corner. As this post-up occurs, this defender right here is becoming more focused on the guy with the ball. Dadiet slowly drifts and gets the ball for a nice dump-off dunk. On this possession, there are going to be multiple cuts that allow him to score. Right here, he's setting an off-ball action with a stagger screen, with two screeners right here. He slips the second screen and honestly probably could have been open here, but he relocates back out to the corner, and then on this drive right here, has a backdoor corner cut again for a layup. It's this multiple efforts that make him a really talented player. On this clip, it's going to be another backdoor cut. From the top of the key, he refuses this screen and gets an easy layup. The reason why he was able to get open here is because Zachary Richesher was focused on this screen right here and thought that Dadiet potentially could have been going this way, but instead, he cuts here and gets an easy layup. Now let's watch him in pick and roll situations. Right here, Pacome is going to have the ball on the wing and call for a ball screen. He gets it right here and knocks down an open three. The reason why he was so open is because this defender right here is actually calling out a switch. You see him pointing right here. But this man right here doesn't hear it or isn't communicating and is getting almost fully screened by number 22. And so he gets an open three and knocks it down. Unfortunately, when it's not just defensive miscommunications like the one we saw there, he frequently will struggle. Right here, he refuses the ball screen and has no separation to score. He's going to refuse here, and he's clearly bothered by this guy right here in the gaps. And the reason I say this is he has to push the ball out, but pushing that out just makes him less in control. Right here, he's going to call for, once again, another ball screen. He gets the screen here, and honestly, this should have been a three because he's a much more of a shooter than a driver. But then, when he's driving, he picks the ball up here because he's clearly bothered. And he's trying to make this late kick, but he's already picked up his dribble and jumps, and it leads to a charge. I really think the simple read here is just pull a three, especially when you're as slow as he is. That cannot happen. On this next clip, he's once again going to call for a ball screen. He gets the ball here, calls for a screen, and uses it and tries to get downhill. However, his lack of touch when going full speed is showcased, and he can't finish. Now, let's look at him as a screener, where I think Pacome really thrives. Right here, his team is going to run a ram action, which is when this man screens Pacome into another screen. Pacome slips and knocks down a wide open three. This is a really great play, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does this more in the pros. On this possession, he's going to set another screen and pop out to the corner to knock down a three. I love seeing him as a screener. On this clip, it's going to be once again another opportunity for a pick and pop play. He slips here and gets an open three, but just can't knock it down. What I love to see here is just the creativity in which his team gets him into this. They're going to be in a horn set right here, where he's going to come over and set an empty ball screen. What's good about it being empty is there's no help here, so as soon as he slips it, there's no one there to pick up Pacome, and he gets a wide open look. He's going to make these fall at a much more consistent rate once he has pro level shooting, and so right now I just love focusing on the footwork and how he got open. Now let's watch Pacome play off the ball in the half court. Right here, he's going to flow into a DHO, and this sets up a nice ball screen here with no help on this side. As this screen occurs, Pacome is going to slowly drift to the wing to give his man an angle to make a pass for a nice 3. On this possession, Pacome is going to be involved in this stack series. He's going to come up, just kind of staying on the wing here. And then what I love to see is this movement right here. So when this pass is made right here, Pacome immediately recognizes that his man is going to feel obligated to at least swipe in this direction. Because of that, he takes 2 steps this way, gets a little more open, and is able to knock down a 3. See, a lot of times people don't realize that this type of movement can make you a better shooter, but it absolutely does. Right here, he's going to get an open 3 and knock it down. The first thing I love seeing is how he bounces back out to the corner, and then he makes an extra pass, but is still available and ready to shoot. On this next clip, it's going to be another opportunity for him in a catch and shoot situation. Right here is this drive occurs, he's ready to shoot and has a nice release. There's not much he does here because really they're helping off the corner, so this guy's coming up to the ball, but it's just good to see the types of looks that he's going to get in the pros. On this next possession, he's going to be in a shake spot. For those of you who don't know, the shake is basically when this ball screen occurs right here, Pacome is going to lift. That's all that is. The reason why that's good is because number 11, Pacome's man, is focused on catching this big man who's rolling. So when Pacome lifts, he gets this look and knocks it down. Right here, he's going to be in another shake situation. This screen occurs here, and he lifts. However, his man is able to recover and get back, so Pacome wants to attack a closeout, but we'll see right here, his footwork wasn't great, and he travels. These are the types of things he's going to have to work on. Right here, he's going to relocate, which is good. However, he just can't knock it down. On this next clip, it's going to be another relocation where he's going to get the ball, realize he doesn't have anything, and then drift to the corner to get an open look. It just doesn't fall. Still, good movement with his feet. Now, let's finish off and watch him in isolation. Right here, Pacome is going to get the ball, change pace, and have a straight line drive into a dunk. Really good play. On this next possession, Pacome is going to get exactly where he likes to score, which he does benefit from mid-range shots in isolation. It's not a highly efficient shot, but he does shoot it a lot and knocks it down. Right here, though, it's a reminder of his struggles in isolation. He doesn't really get by anybody, and just look at this shot. You don't have to force it. It's early in the shot clock. This is never the right answer. Right here, on this possession, it's going to be another soft take from Pacome. He's calling for the ball right here on the wing, tries to rip through, but as you see, isn't strong with the ball, lifts it up high, and gets blocked. Dribbling into a 3-on-1 just isn't a recipe for success. Right here, he's going to get the ball, once again, on the wing. However, he's uncomfortable, struggles to finish with his left hand, and misses the shot. On this last clip for him offensively, Pacome is going to get the ball right here. He's dribbling and sizing up his man and tries to dribble through this angle. However, he doesn't recognize that this man is in the gaps and he gets an easy steal and Pacome loses the ball. Let's watch this one more time at full speed and we'll see Pacome really make a bad read. Now, let's discuss Pacome's defensive game. To be honest, there are not many defensive strengths to his play. However, I would say he has pretty good length, especially as a wing. I think he has long arms, and he's 6'7", but he's every bit of 6'7", and in shoes, I think he's 6'9", which is really good to see. Secondly, I think he has the potential to develop into a solid defender because he has good frame and has shown flashes of being okay. Unfortunately, he's shown a lot more flashes of being very poor in driving line, pick and roll, and off-ball defensive situations. There are a lot of defensive weaknesses when you're looking at Pacome's game. The first of which is his inability to handle refuses in a ball screen. Oftentimes, Pacomes will have a tendency to cheat and assume that the ball handler is going to use the ball screen. This means instead of impacting the ball, forcing him to use a ball screen, and bullying over, Pacome will instead just start going the direction of the ball screen before it is even used. This allows guards to easily refuse the screen and get downhill or pull wide open jump shots. Next, he's a very poor communicator, which is really surprising because you don't see that often from overseas prospects. There are a lot of clips where I saw him not be in the right position off ball or be in the position off ball for far too long. Then, when he's in scramble situations, he doesn't necessarily take the best of paths and sometimes won't talk well at all. Third, his driving line defense is honestly very slow. There are stretches where he's not in a stance, and there's stretches where he's in a stance but just gets completely beat by a quicker guard. Finally, his general screen navigation is extremely poor, and he gets clipped, has a tendency to go under a little too much, and just needs to work on it. Overall, there's a lot of pieces that Pacome is going to have to fix defensively. Now, let's get into the film and watch Pacome play defensively. On this possession, it's going to be a rare glimpse of Pacome showing the flashes I mentioned earlier of being a good driving line defender. Right here, he's going to do a nice job navigating through this screen. He does get clipped, however he competes, gets back into the play, and gets a block. I think he probably could have had a little better navigation there, but I love seeing his competitiveness. Right here, he's going to go over this screen and now be in a situation where he's guarding a guard. He stays in front of his man and gets kind of lucky with an offensive foul, but it's what's called. On this possession though, he really struggles dealing with a refuse. As you see right here, he's expecting the ball screen and just gets embarrassed. This cannot happen in the NBA. These are the types of plays that are simple and you just can't let guards get going this way. Right here, it's even more egregious as before the screen has even occurred, he's already taken 2 steps in this direction. This leads to his man taking a dribble the opposite way and getting a wide open 3. Right here, in a dribble handoff situation, Pacome showcases bad screen navigation. When you go under a ball screen, you have to be ready for them to twist the screen. The reasoning behind this is, when they twist, they get a step lower so you can't turn around and go this way. It's also hard because all of your momentum is pulling you this way. This allows him to get clipped and give up a wide open mid-range. Now, let's watch a little more of him in a driving line situation. Right here, he's guarding the ball and is competing. However, as you saw right there, he was pretty much embarrassed. He tries to make a swipe at the ball right here, comes out of his stance, and just gets cooked. Really not good stuff, and it leads to a 3. Right here, we're going to watch him in a MIG situation. For those of you who don't know, the MIG stands for the most important guy. What that means is Pacome right here has to catch this man who is rolling. However, right here, Pacome really has the ability to take a step or 2 back because this man right here has tagged the big, and this man in drop coverage is showcasing signs of getting back. As soon as this pass is thrown, you need to be running. The pass is halfway there, and that's when he takes his first step, which is far too late, and it leads to an open 3. Let's watch this at full speed just to get a true feel, and we're going to see the issues. He should start taking a step back now, takes a step late, and isn't quick getting back. Right here, it's going to be another situation of him not being the best off ball. Right here, he's trying to protect the drive, but honestly, he doesn't necessarily have to, as this man right here is on his defender's hip. You need to be pulled like a string, so when the ball is going this way, you need to be going closer to your man. Pacome stands there, is late getting back, and gives up a 3. Once again, just for the true effect, let's watch how late he is getting back. He should start going back now, comes back late, and it gives up a 3. Right here, he's in another situation where there's not the best talk that's occurring. In a scramble situation right here, Pacome is coming in to help. Pacome really needs to be the guy to come right here and catch this guy in the wing. He really decides instead to go to the corner, recognizes no one's in position, and then has a late closeout, which isn't good. On this next clip, it's an even more egregious example of just bad communication. Right now, it starts as a good scramble, but right here, for some reason, instead of going to the ball, which he's already started running to, he changes his direction to go to this man who's literally standing out of bounds. This is a horrible decision, and it's just honestly embarrassing and bad defense. Let's watch a couple examples of him being in a good spot off ball to remind you that he does have a chance to succeed. Right here, he's in the gaps and contests and makes the shot hard. It's that length that allows him to be a pretty solid player. On this next clip, he's going to be in the gaps. Right here, he's active, swipes at the ball, and gets a steal. Overall, I think that Pacome Dadiet has the potential to be a really solid role player in the NBA. With his shooting and cutting abilities, I think it gives him the spot to be the guy that you bring off the bench, maybe as a 7th or 8th man, consistently to space the floor. You can never have enough wings who can shoot, and Pacome just provides more depth for an NBA team trying to compete. However, I really do think that that may be his ceiling. I think that there is not enough creativity for him in isolation, and I don't think that his defense will ever get to the level where he can be somebody that you could insert into a starting lineup. However, there's nothing wrong with having a long career as a role player. If he's able to have higher shooting splits, shoot more consistently, and continue to keep up his cutting and screening abilities, I think that can allow him to have a long 7-ish year career as a backup. But I do think that that's his ceiling. As far as what his more likely outcome is, I think he's somebody that's probably going to be in the NBA for his rookie contract plus 1 or 2 more years, just as one of those guys that's going to space the floor. Because at the end of the day, you have to be really good at that role to survive for a long period of time. The reasoning behind this is teams can always get younger, cheaper rookies like Pacome is right now that can develop the more skills and be more valuable for a team at less of a price. I will say Pacome is not even going to be 19. He'll still be 18 when he's drafted. So I think there is potential for him to become a little bit better and develop some of the skills we talked about. So maybe his ceiling's a bit higher, but I think his more realistic outcome is a relatively shorter career. As far as his floor, I could see him being so bad defensively and not being able to create for himself. And at 36% from beyond the arc, it's not the shooting numbers that are going to require an NBA GM or coach to keep you on the floor. And so maybe he doesn't really play for his first couple of years, has his 1 or 2 years on his rookie deal, signs a 2-way, and then is out of the league in 3 years. Despite that, I still think he has the potential to have a nice career as a role player. As far as where I would draft him, I think that I would pick him more likely in the early 2nd, but I would understand a team just getting a safe role player pick with a late 1st. I could see him going around the range of 28 to 35. Overall, that's my take, and thank y'all for watching another episode of The Rim Review.